For the month of June, I sought to do a no spend challenge. So I want to break down the things I ended up spending my money on, as well as the items that I wanted to purchase but didn't purchase. And so I was actually able to save my money. And then I will also be sharing with you some tips to help you to stop impulse spending and to maybe think twice about making your next purchase. If you are new to the idea of a no spend challenge, basically, this has gained a lot of popularity over the past few years where people decide to challenge themselves to cut out spending, unnecessary spending for a year, maybe a month, maybe a week, or even just a weekend in order to save money and to actually reach their financial goals. And the idea is that you don't spend any money on unnecessary items, no impulse buying, no shopping, and no carefree spending. You're really intentional about your spending and you're really just spending money on absolute necessities such as your mortgage, rent, your utilities, and your bills. Hi, my name is Sydney. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am sharing my personal finance journey as well as how I'm budgeting and saving, and also my path to reaching financial freedom. And I'm also sharing lifestyle content. So if that's something you're interested in, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I am hoping to just kind of share my journey so that it will inspire you to also take control of your finances and to know that you can begin at any time and start over at any time with your path to financial freedom and your path towards building wealth. I have made a number of mistakes myself when it comes to finances, and I've made poor financial decisions, but it is not too late to start over and to begin building better financial habits. Lastly, I just want to say if you watched my last video, my payday routine video, or you found me through that video, thank you so much for all the love and support on that video. I'm just so grateful that it was able to reach so many of you and that it also resonated with many of you. I am just glad you found it helpful. And again, if you found me through that video, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So, this is what I ended up spending money on for the month of June that I maybe didn't really need to spend money on. So, I went to PetSmart and I wanted to get my dog a new chew toy or ball. So, I spent $10 on two spike balls from PetSmart. And then one night earlier in June, I ended up spending $20.08 eating out at a restaurant. We only have a few small restaurants in my town. And that night, I had justified to myself that I was just so exhausted from the day and that I deserved to treat myself and have a meal out because I always cook at home, which I truly do cook almost, I would say, like 98% of my meals at home because city is about an hour and 15-minute drive for me, so there's really not many food options around. Then I did end up making an Amazon purchase, and Amazon purchases is an area where I feel like I really have been able to cut back, but Amazon purchases are also what got me into so much trouble in the past when it came to overspending, impulse buying, and also charging on my credit card. So I no longer do that as much because I got rid of my Prime subscription. I was spending $14.99 a month on the Prime subscription, and getting rid of that really helped me to not have the convenience of just opening the app and purchasing on Amazon because now I'm not getting the Amazon Prime deals and I have to spend at least $35 in order to get free shipping. Nonetheless, I did spend $35.35 on eye drops and a puzzle. I felt like I really needed eye drops because I have terrible allergies and my eyes were so dry, itchy, and watery. So I needed those eye drops. And then I ended up purchasing a puzzle because I wanted something to do in my leisure time with my partner. So I thought doing a puzzle would be fun for us. Next, I did end up buying Teva's shoes or Tevas sandals, and that was $51.99. And I actually felt like I needed these sandals, although I would also say that I probably could have just worn tennis shoes. But the only other pair of sandals that I have are rainbow flip-flops. And if you know rainbow flip-flops, they're really great for just kind of walking around and wearing to the beach. But I don't feel like they're great for where I live because I am mostly surrounded by dirt roads with a lot of rocks. And so they're actually quite uncomfortable for me to wear when I'm walking my dog, which I do daily. So I decided that for the summer, I needed a new pair of sandals that were going to be more supportive and comfy because I prefer for my toes to breathe and to not wear tennis shoes in the summertime. And that total for the items that I did spend was $117.42. So I would say that wasn't terrible. It wasn't too bad. And some of those items, it's hard. Sometimes it does feel like a need more than a want, but then you can also look at it as like, well, that was more of a want and you could have just done with what you had. But nonetheless, I did spend $117 and that maybe could have gone towards my credit card payment. $115 down is $115 down. All right, let's move on to the items in my shopping cart that I did not ultimately buy. So, the first items were clothes from Gap. I've also learned that Gap has so many sales going on all the time. You're likely not missing the sale that's going on now because they will likely just have another sale next month. But I wanted to get 3 t-shirts and 2 pairs of pants, which would have cost $55. I ended up not purchasing that because I felt like, you know what? I do have clothes. I can wear what I already have. And I was really just buying plain t shirts like one I was wearing now. And I've really just tried to stick to a more minimalist uh, wardrobe so that I'm not feeling the need to be cutesy all the time and to have the newest clothes and to always be spending money on clothes. The next item I wanted to purchase was skincare, a tallow moisturizer, and sunscreen, and that would have cost me about $80 to $90. I told myself I do not need these items. I already have skincare that I still need to use. I still have moisturizer. I am not completely out. And skincare is an area I've really tried to curb my spending as well because I love skincare. I have really dry skin and sometimes I have breakouts, and that's an area where I have justified to myself so many times like, "Oh, but this might help your skin. This will really improve your skin." And really at the end of the day, yes, some products are better than the other, but I don't need to impulsively buy on skincare when I already have skincare at home. The next item is a Raza Coconut Cream Foundation. I was really interested in this product because it's a clean foundation. However, it was $48 for this foundation, and I told myself I don't really need it because I hardly wear makeup. I don't wear makeup on a daily basis because I work from home, and even when I'm out doing errands or grocery shopping, I don't put on makeup. So I did not buy that foundation. I wanted a phone case, which would have been about $10 to $15 for the ones I was looking on Amazon. And I decided I don't need a new phone case. The phone case I have, although one of the pieces on the back isn't working properly for me to prop up my phone, overall, the phone case is intact and it still works. So I decided not to spend money on this phone case. Another purchase I've been contemplating and really wanting for months now is a water filter. I've been wanting the AquaPure water filter, which is about $300 to $450. And this water filter, I'm like, it filters about 83 plus contaminants and also filters out forever chemicals. So to me, this would be a great purchase because right now I'm just drinking tap water, but it's really expensive, and to me, it's not a must have. I do think drinking clean water is important, but I'm making do with tap water for now, so maybe down the line that's something I will get. Then I wanted to purchase ghee, which is like cooking butter. It's like clarified butter, and that would have been $25. I did not buy that. I wanted to get a paddleboard for 200. I did not buy that. I also wanted to get a treadmill for 400. I did not purchase it. I also wanted to get blue light glasses for $16. And lastly, I wanted to get some clothing from Packed Clothing, which would have been $236. Now, there was no way I was going to really spend $236 on these three items of clothing, but I do value high quality clothing over fast fashion. And that is sometimes how I justify spending higher higher money on some items of clothing. However, I don't need these clothes right now. And lastly, what I want to say is that when it comes to spending, you know, I I do my best, but I'm not perfect. And I think that ultimately it's just about, recognizing what items that you're wanting to buy and kind of putting it on the back burner and pausing for a second and challenging yourself to not make that impulsive buy. So, all of the items that I listed that I wanted to purchase but didn't was going to cost $1,535. Now, truly, I did not have that money to spend. I didn't have it because I have budgeted my paychecks out. And so typically I know how much I'm going to have left over. So if I had purchased really any of these products, it would have put me over my budget and I would have been out of money. And in the past, I would have charged it on a credit card or I would have put it on payments. And I no longer do that because I'm trying to get out of debt. I want to remind you that if you're putting things on a payment plan like Klara or Afterpay, that is not it's not beneficial for you and you're really just charging debt. You're charging credit and that is something you're going to have to pay off in the future. If you don't have the money now, then you really should not purchase it and you should reconsider buying those items. Now, finally, let's get into the tips to help curb your spending. When it comes to setting a no spend challenge, it's good to be clear and intentional about what it is you plan to cut back on spending. Whether you're dining out or cutting back on maybe hobbies or shopping or clothing, get really clear on the rules and boundaries you want to set for your no spend so that you can more easily stay on top of it and you can keep in mind the things that you don't want to spend on, and it will just help you to stay more accountable to your goals. Next, I highly recommend deleting social media. We know that it's no longer just social media, that it is now like a marketplace. It's really designed for you to shop and buy online. And we know that anytime you're talking, your phone listens, as well as when you're searching things online, you're then getting ads for that exact product. I recommend if you can delete social media for the week or the weekend, I think it will truly help you to stop being so influenced as well as stop with the impulse buying and spending just because the ad flashes across your Instagram. And then another thing is to stop following influencers that only promote spending and products. I can think of a handful of influencers that I used to follow that I loved their shopping hauls and the things that they were promoting, such as clothes or a Stanley Cup or exercise gear, workout gear, and they would share all of their spending that they would do at Target and Walmart, and they would share items that were on sale, or they would share their coupon code or promo code to buy these things. And of course, it was so enticing because, you know, they're relatable. They're buying things that we want to buy, but they're also showing you things that you really don't need, but you think you need them because their lives look so happy. They look so aesthetic. And so I would recommend to stop following influencers and people who make you feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses, who make you feel like you need to buy and have what they have, because that is not the case. And we don't have to adhere our financial spending to what everyone else is doing. The next thing is to delete your saved pay information. So I know that on my laptop, it always asks me if I want to save my pay information whenever I go to check out. Click no. Delete your pay information that's saved on your computer, on your phone, as well as Apple Pay, because this will help for you to not overspend, to not impulse buy because you can't so easily just click a button and make the purchase. You would actually have to get up, go to your wallet, get your card info, but this will allow you to stop and think more about your purchase and whether you really need it or not. So these are some tips that I hope you find helpful. I hope that this video was helpful and created some transparency around my imperfect spending habits. And if you found this video helpful at all, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.